day to all the delegates and attendees at the Ethical Marketplace Fairgrounds. It's a pleasure to be here at the virtual show this year. I'm Simon Holloway, one of the three owners of Vegepod, Australian born and bred company. We're now in 19 countries and we have what we believe is the world's most sustainable and eco-friendly garden bed in the world, and that goes over many factors. So I'd like to introduce it to you first. The Vegepod is pest-free, it's weed-free, it's harsh element-free. It does all of these things without harming those pests and without doing bad things to the environment. Our overall sustainability score is very large because, of course, some people look directly straight at the plastic and they start thinking, oh, plastic's bad. Well, that's not the case. We use virgin polypropylene for a start, which is all food safe. It's critical that we have food safety when you're growing vegetables. So we're not making a deck or a chair or a piece of furniture which you can make out of recycled plastic. We are using it with food, hence it needs to be virgin polyprop, BPA free, grade 5, all certifiably safe for you and your family. At the end of the other scale, however, it is recyclable. So if you do ever want to put it back into the system, why would you? I don't know. But let's say in 10, 15, 20 years, if you wanted to, put it straight back into the system and it can get recycled. Now, giving that length of time, as I said, it does last a long time. Some people say, is that for better or is that for worse? Well, for our product, it's for better, because when you have other timber products that are used for raised garden beds, they will rot, and often if they're untreated, and you hope they are, if they're untreated, then they will break down unless it's a hard cedar or something like that. So within a couple of years, what happens? You've got someone over there putting out the chainsaws, brrr, chopping down trees, putting it into a truck. The truck goes along, brrr, then they get it into their factories and they start processing it. Brrr, then they put it into a package, repackage, then they put it into another truck, then they put it on a big ship overseas, then it gets to us. It's absolutely huge carbon footprint and carbon miles by the time that product, which looks all pretty with their timber, is redone every 2 or 3 years. Our longevity is actually a great thing for the environment as long as it is recyclable and able to keep going. Then we move to here. It's actually, I should say, underneath here is the self-watering wicking beds. Now, this is another great part for our sustainability. As a matter of fact, the Smart Water Mark of Australia is on its last processes of awarding us their certificate because we are so good on water efficiency, which is critical for the planet. Under here, we have wicking beds. So 16 litres of water in each base tray. So that's a single for the small. This is the medium. This is the large. Over here, the 2 metre by 1 metre, 64 litres of water. So much less watering, much more efficient. It doesn't drain out at the bottom of the beds and go off into your trees next door. It's stored and recycled back up, 80% less watering. Not only is that containing the water, but it's containing your soil. So when you put organic soils into your Vegepods, whatever you put in there is what's uncontaminated and kept clean. Again, when you've got standard garden beds, you're gonna have the touching soils nearby contaminating the soil and gradually leaching up, which in urban environments in particular have high levels of mercury, high levels of lead. You don't know what's been underneath your house 100 years ago. It could have been a tip for all you know. So having it completely contained and completely safe is a great thing for our sustainability and organic growing. What this does, it means you don't have to have using pesticides, no herbicides. To stop the weeds, to stop the pests, we have got commercial farm grade mesh. Now this doesn't rip, it doesn't tear. Notice it is also a very fine mesh. The larger ones that you see a lot of people use, exclusion netting, can be up to this big. They're like golf balls. So not only does it not stop the small pests, but unfortunately you get the likes of rosellas and flying foxes and our beautiful native wildlife get caught up in those exclusion netting, and they're all soft and folding in on them, and it will kill them. Our superfine mesh simply repels them with no harm to the animals. It also means you don't have to water as much because it's taking the edge of the heat off. It also stops all the frost. If you do want to use extra watering, we have mist sprays lining the canopy, super fine mesh, super efficient watering. So again, you're not just splashing around, ruining your plants or over excessive water amounts. What else can I tell you? So, well, vegetable growing in itself is the number one thing that we can all do to save the planet. And I don't say that loosely. I'm actually quoting the famous Eric Toensmeier. He is a renowned research scientist in the USA. If you got to see that wonderful Australian documentary film 2040, you'll remember him being interviewed on there, and that is indeed his quote. His quote is, the number one thing we can all do on an individual or family level, the number one, the gold standard that we can do is to grow one's food at home. It stops all those carbon miles. It makes sure that you're using organic materials and not all those other harmful stuff. So if that's the number one thing that we can do, and remember, he was helping drive Barack Obama's Project Drawdown. He was the author of the renowned book, The Carbon Solution. That's his number one guidance. That's what we do for everybody, and that's what we want to do for you guys. It becomes an addiction. It's fun. You're doing great things for the planet. You're doing great things for society. You're doing great things for your family. If you want to know a little bit more about our company and what we do in terms of our parts of community, come on inside here, Susie. We are also, I think I've still got a couple of copies in here. We have many community programs. So we are a corporate social responsible company. We teamed up with Southern Cross University up there in Lismore and Gold Coast, and indeed the federal government, the holy trinity of academia, government and industry ourselves, and have created free programs for many community areas. Senior Grow, for example, for aged care. We have Growability for disability groups. We have social housing, hospitals, prisons, preschools, high schools, junior schools. We have all of these programs that are free. So if you're working in that industry or you have family or friends or loved ones in that industry, we're certainly happy to give these out. Rather than just purely donating them free to Surf Life Saving Clubs and RSLs, we actually like people who receive our pods or receive the discounts from pods to be people that are going to be using it in gardening. So we are a very sustainable company, we're a very corporate social responsibility company, and we hope that you guys can connect with us and we can help you grow. Thank you very much. Bye.
Let's get ready to walk the Bluestones again. Let's curse Punt Road. Let's ride the Frankston line. Let's dodge swooping Maggies. Let's cross the inglorious river. Let's get ready to chuck hook turns in the rain. Let's order obnoxious coffees. Let's queue for dimmies. Let's avoid outbound on the Tulla. Let's wear the blackest black. Let's Gertrude, let's Bay, let's Burke, let's Hoddle. Let's Melbourne again, an initiative to reinvigorate Melbourne from those who love this city.